Hi everyone, Kelsey here from TRK Creative. Thanks for joining me today. This video is specifically going to focus on how to create reels and stories inside the Instagram and Facebook app. I'm going to go over some really creative and specific ways on creating reels and stories to really help take your business to the next level. The first thing we're going to start off today with is the reels. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the app and show you fully how to create a reel inside of Instagram first. The next thing we're going to focus on is stories and all of the creative ways that we can utilize stories specifically for your business. Whether it's an image, a video, a post, or maybe you want to try something new, I'm going to show you some really easy and intuitive ways to make it so that you're grabbing people's attention when they're following you on Instagram or Facebook. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm working on an iPhone today, so if you're working on an Android, this is going to look a little bit different for you, but it's still going to have the same and similar concepts. So the first thing we're going to do today is we're going to go to AMA Waterways and download some content for you guys to specifically use. There is your travel advisor portal. You can go ahead and navigate to your travel advisor portal and log in, and you can see all of these really cool images and logos and options available that you can download directly to your phone. So this is one way to kind of supplement while you're not in a destination. Another thing too is there's other cruise providers that also provide options like this. There's current promotions that you can push through stories and reels. And then also a lot of the time they'll provide you with video content that you can download and kind of customize yourself from a story or reel perspective. So once we kind of go ahead and start with this specifically, then what we're going to do is we're going to go over back to our phone and we're going to see all of those through our photo app. So as you can see here, I went through and downloaded the AMA Waterways images. I also have a couple videos in here, logos, some cruise options. So I'm going to pretend like I'm in destination with you guys and posting things so that we can kind of get a better idea of what to do when you're in destination, but also what to do when you're out of destination. So kind of like a 101 of reels and stories. So now that we have all these images, and as you can see here, I'm just going to kind of flip through them. I'll also show you some of the video options that I have. What you'll notice is a lot of the times the vendors will actually give this to you in horizontal format. Thankfully, in stories, you can enlarge the image to make it more vertical format, but I highly recommend that when you're in destination, you shoot in both vertical and horizontal views specifically. So we're going to go ahead and just start by creating our first reel. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go and open the Instagram app. Like I said, 30 seconds is always better. So as you can see up at the top, these are going to be your stories, right? And then if we go into our reels, and I'm going to use this page as an example, you'll notice that there are reels throughout this option right here. Here's a really great example of some reels that we have posted. Again, most reels are going to have music attached to them. You can also put overlays. In this sample, I went ahead and used some fast forwarding. I did a lot of the editing through a video app specifically, but you can actually do everything through the Instagram app itself. Over here is where you're going to see other video content that we have playing, and then this is going to be the tab where you get user-generated content. Alright, so we're actually just going to click on this center button down here with the play. This is your reel button. So this is where you can go and explore other reels inside of Instagram. What we're going to do is we are going to do a couple of options. So as you can see on the left-hand side, the first one is going to be your music, right? This is where you can go through and choose music. You cannot upload videos to Instagram or Facebook with music already added because of copyright reasons. Another thing is if we are sharing this to Facebook, you're going to have to upload the music separately on Facebook in order for it to work correctly. Next thing over here on the left-hand side is going to be your clips, 60, 30, 15. So if you're in destination recording, this is exactly where you're going to choose how long you want your reel to be. Zoom is the next option. We can come in, we can come out. Next thing is going to be grid and framing. So we can change the grid a little bit. We can do some other options. We can scale, we can set timers. And then the next thing is going to be your timer. So let's go ahead, and in the bottom left-hand corner, we're going to go ahead and click this plus sign down here. This is going to be all of our videos and images that I've saved. So we're going to go ahead and start with content that we already have versus recording live. Now, when you think about in destination, I recommend just recording on your phone, just through the regular camera app. Reason being is quality. Your camera is going to have a really great quality frame. And so I recommend that if you are in destination, don't feel like you have to go upload the reel right away that second. Now, when we get talking about stories, it's a little bit different of an example because that is more live footage. But for the reels, feel free to take the video and just kind of run with it. So as you see here, I hit the scale button. That instantly made it to a vertical size. You can change it back and forth if you want. This is set at the 60-second mark. So I'm going to go ahead and use this as an example because it's a great video. And we're just going to go ahead and click this add button at the top. Hi again. Once we get to this frame, we're going to go ahead and click preview. All right, so here's our video that we have. And then I have this, it's a little bit tilted, so I kind of have a tilted angle to it to give it kind of this dimensional feel. We can change that if we want in the very beginning. It's also going to depend on the actual video that you're uploading since I started with horizontal. But let's go ahead and go over some of these features. So on-screen text. If you push on this button, this is going to be where you can change all of your text, add specific items inside of here. You can also change the font, the color, the background, basically anything that you're looking to change, we can do that here, okay? Another thing is if you highlight and then come to this text option, you can also change specifically the text inside of your frame, or you can just select what color you're looking for in the actual video itself, and it'll change automatically for you. Here's gonna be your alignment depending on where you want it. I usually always start with center, and then what we're gonna do here is we're going to come back and we're gonna do this one. And left-hand side, this is gonna be your sizing, so I'm gonna do it really large, and then we're gonna hit done. Now, you can always edit this. If you click on it again, it'll go back to your editing options. You can also move it anywhere you want to move it. Now, you'll notice as I move, you'll have these lines that pop up, and you'll also see the reel post at the bottom left-hand corner. Make sure we stay in frame sizing. So stay away from where your name is or your business Instagram page, and also up at the very, very top where it says reel, I highly recommend just staying in between these lines right here. The next thing that we're going to look at is closed captioning and stickers. So if you're talking in the video, you can add in closed captioning. This video I chose doesn't have a ton of text specific, so there's not going to be a ton of closed captioning, but inside of here, if you want, you just click on the closed captioning option inside the sticker frame, and you can go ahead and add that in. The next thing we'll talk about in the sticker frame is going to be stickers in general. So you can search for a lot of things. You can add things as overlays in order to shrink and enlarge. You just use 2 fingers on your screen. You can also move back and forth if you like. And there is really hundreds of stickers that you can use. It just depends what you're searching for, but that's how you get to the sticker frame. The next thing we're going to look about is tags. So we can actually tag people directly by doing a couple of different things. So we can add a tag inside of here by doing a hashtag. We can also do @ or mentions. The next thing I would say is that once we get past the saving of the actual creative of the reel, you can also add mentions and hashtags into the captioning of the actual video itself for some extra exposure options. So now that we have this video in place, we have some stickers layered on here, we have some overlay text, we have a hashtag, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add some music. So this is going to be the actual audio from the video itself. I always minimize this unless there's something that, if you're talking, obviously we want to keep that in play. The next thing we want to do is hit this music button in the left-hand corner and find some music available to use. I usually like to go to new releases. You can search for any type of music that you're looking for, and we'll go ahead and listen to some options and see kind of what fits this specifically. All right, I'm going to select this. So by changing this frame at the bottom is changing the song selection specifically in the song where you want to play the 60 seconds at. So I'm going to go ahead and listen at some spots and see which fits the best. All right, I think this works good. So we're going to go ahead and hit the done button. We can also lower the volume a little bit if you want to just keep the volume kind of on a lower frame if you have talking. And then we're going to go ahead and hit done. So now at this point, our story is ready to go. We've uploaded the video, we've added a text overlay, we've added a sticker, we've added a tag. There is already some really cool transitions that Ama Waterways did for us in the video already. We've optimized for on-screen placement, and we've added music. So now it's time to share our video. Before we go to that next step, I always recommend just clicking this download button with the arrow at the top kind of center left, and that will download the story into your phone so that you have it for Facebook or for another platform. We're going to go ahead and click next, and this is where you can add a caption. So I'm going to go ahead and say like cruising with Ama Waterways. You can tag them is luxury at its best. Hashtag seize the day. Hashtag international travel. Instagram has lately been saying that using about 4 to 6 hashtags per post is kind of the most beneficial. So I'm only going to add 2 in here, but I recommend at least posting 4. We can add a location in here. We can tag people. We can crop the profile image here. Then the next thing we're going to do is go ahead and click share. When I think about posting on Instagram, I really think about it at the reel level first, because the reel is creating the story for you. Now, we're going to get into in a minute all the options you have with stories, but this is a great way to kind of do a 2-in-1 type of approach to posting on Instagram. So we're going to go ahead and take this video, and then as you can see in the bottom right-hand corner, there's this little arrow that looks kind of like a sending mail, right? We're going to go ahead and click on that, and then we're going to do add reel to story, okay? It's that simple. Once you click on that, it's going to pop up the story editor. So very similar to the reel editor, we have some options inside of here. The first thing that you do have is your background color, okay? This changes the background options that you have. You also have, again, the text. In the stories feature, you now have the mention, so we can do activities and tours marketing, right? And we can also add in location. This is where things get really cool with stories and are really beneficial from a strategy level. So by tagging San Diego in this post, we're actually showing up in search when people search for things to do in San Diego on Instagram. This is how people get a lot of exposure. So the next thing we're going to do is open up the stickers tab. Now, with stories, you have some really cool options that are really interactive for your viewers. The first one we're going to go over is how to use the questions, the slider, and take a poll. So the first thing is how to ask a question, right? So let's say I want to ask a question like, who has been to San Diego, right? And then people can actually respond here. All right, the next sticker that we're going to go over is the slider. Now, this is probably my personal favorite. You don't have to put a question here. You can if you want. You can just use the slider itself. I personally love this, especially for travel, because people just love on stories to swipe all the way through that they love it, okay? And then you have all the stickers. You also have link, which is a really cool new feature that I think is really important. Let's say you're trying to drive traffic to your website or any other social place. You can actually type in the link here and it will post onto the story. Those are some of the really cool tools that you can use inside of the story feature. This specific one, I'm showing you how to post a reel directly to your story. You do have draw and save. Again, I highly always recommend saving these every time you create them, because then you can just share them directly to Facebook and you don't have to recreate these all over again. So you can just go ahead and click that. So these three dots that we have, events, website, and destinations, these are called highlights. You can actually save your story, which usually only lasts 24 hours, and save it into something called a highlight. So here's an example of one of the posts I did from San Diego. We went ahead and saved this into the highlight. All right, so now that I've kind of gone through how to share your reels that you've uploaded into your stories, let's talk about some of the other story features that we have inside of Instagram. All right, so this is my Instagram homepage. The top right-hand corner, there is going to be a plus sign. This is where we can do post and story specifically. So we're going to go ahead and go to the story option, and we're going to see all the options here. So I have a couple images here that we're going to use. I'm going to go ahead and use this one first and pretend like I just took this while we're in destination. All right, so the next thing we're going to go over is how to use the eraser tool. And we're going to come up here to the three dots and click on draw. You'll see up the first button is going to be the brush tool. So if you're going to go ahead and click on the color that you want, and then click and hold on the screen, and it'll fill the whole screen. The next thing you're going to do is take the eraser tool, and you can adjust the size of the eraser, and you can go ahead and erase away the option behind the blue screen. So we can create this cool effect with the eraser tool by adding this overlay. And then we can also add in our locations, our hashtag, and any additional stickers. So as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to briefly touch on how to do all of these reels and stories directly inside of the Facebook app. So I'm going to go ahead and open up Facebook, and we're going to look at things a little bit differently. So what you'll notice is that inside of Facebook, you now have this story option. Again, as you can see, I went ahead and saved one of the stories that we already did so that I can add it directly in here. Facebook platform looks a little bit different. So now, as you can see, there are stickers, music, text. All of the options that are inside of Instagram are also inside of Facebook. But since we already saved our content, it's a lot easier to just upload it inside of here. Now, the other cool tool that Facebook has is we do have this green screen option where, let's say you're sitting at your desk and you want to pretend like you are in paradise in this background. There is this cool feature that you can just turn on directly from Facebook directly and start sharing this here. You can also put screenshots in the background, other stuff that might be interesting as you kind of create your own content. Reels, on the other hand, is going to be a little bit different. So if you go to your menu option in the bottom right hand corner of Facebook, you now have this Reels section. Again, it's going to look very similar to Instagram. You're going to have all of these Reels and options. The top right hand corner is where you can upload and create your Reels just as if you did on Instagram. Now, remember, you have to upload the audio separately in Facebook. You cannot upload video that already has music in the background due to copyright. And so that's how you use the Facebook side of things very briefly. Now, if you have questions, feel free to reach out to me directly. But the number one suggestion I have to everyone is just be creative. Look to see what other people are doing. Look to see what your competitors are doing. Save examples. Download them using the InstaSave. And just feel free to do something different. That's what people want to see. The other thing we're going to go over is the preview and the InstaSave. So InstaSave is what I'm going to start with first. This is a tool where you can actually come in, open Instagram, and select Reels or Stories specifically that are inside of your post. So the next tool I'm going to show you guys is the preview app. So inside of the preview app, you will download this and you can use this for storyboard planning. Inside of here, what you can do is there's a free version. You'll go ahead and log in with your Instagram and you can manage this through a calendar perspective. You can see this from a monthly or weekly view. You can add in stories here. You can create carousels. You can split images. You can create your reels, you can create your videos, and you can basically manage everything that you have going on inside of Instagram through this app directly with some scheduling and planning. If you're looking to do some stuff in the future, look at the other apps and opportunities like Preview and InstaSave and some other cool video tools that are out there and available to you. If you have any questions, my name is Kelsey with TRK Creative, Kelsey at trkcreative.com. Thanks again for joining in. More videos on the way, and looking forward to connect with you soon. Thanks.